Motorists will now have to pay more for petrol as duties were raised for the first time in 6 years. The duty for premium grade petrol will be raised 15 cents per litre to 79 cents a litre, while intermediate grade petrol will see a rise of 10 cents a litre to 66 cents per litre.
To help offset these increases, there will be 60% road tax rebate for a year and up to $80 of additional petrol duty rebate depending on the engine capacity.
Well, both road tax and additional petrol duty rebates will be dispersed automatically to eligible recipients. No application is required. The Land Transport Authority will release further details on the additional petrol duty rebates in April.
The rise in petrol duties comes as Singapore entices motorists to switch to electric vehicles. Senior transport correspondent Christopher Tan weighed in on this latest measure in an analysis piece. Now, Christopher, you wrote about a carrot and stick approach to encourage people to drive EVs. Now, carrots like unprecedented incentives for EVs and sticks like latest hike in petrol duties. It's all part of the Singapore Green Plan 2030. As we work towards that target, what else would spur efforts in reducing vehicular emissions?
Yeah, okay. First of all, I must say that this is really exciting times for us, for an opportunity to move away from a high carbon, high emission environment to a lower carbon, low emission environment, so that all of us, generations that follow, can breathe cleaner air. Now, what else can we do towards this green plan? I think on the road, you would actually notice quite evidently that there are a lot of trucks and buses and lorries that are still emitting black smoke. After all our attempts to try and clamp down and shift away from Euro 2, Euro 3, even Euro 4 engines, which are dirtier, to Euro 5 and Euro 6 engines, which are supposed to be cleaner. Now, I think we can speed that up further, because these vehicles are the ones that actually clock the highest mileage. And being huge and big, they actually consume a lot of fuel, and when they consume a lot of fuel, they emit a lot of tailpipe emissions. So we can do a lot more on that front. It's not really the cars and the passengers' cars that are emitting the most smoke, if you like. It's these big diesel vehicles that are creating an environment which is not only bad for our lungs, it's really unsightly for a modern city like Singapore.
Well, Christopher, let's bring back the conversation to the increases in the petrol duties. They will be offset by road tax rebates. But for those who use their vehicles more often than the rest of us, like taxi and private hire drivers as well as food delivery riders, could the extra cost in the end be passed on to the consumers?
Well, there is always a chance of that. But let us remember that most vehicles of commerce are running on diesel. And diesel is actually, if you ask me, underpriced because it's undertaxed. Diesel has a much lower duty than petrol. And so for the longest time, for many, many decades, it's been a conscious effort to be pro-business, to help people who, do these deliveries, to help commuters have lower fares. We have priced diesel consciously lower than petrol, but maybe now it's time to revisit that topic and see whether we should actually raise diesel to be on parity with petrol so that people use them more judiciously. And that's exactly what duty is for. The duty was introduced to help people make a more conscious effort to plan their journeys better, to not idle the engines unnecessarily. And all this will be good for the environment, and not only good for the environment, but good for economic cost. The less fuel you use, the more money you save, right? So there will be businesses which will latch on to this to say, okay, my coffee is going to cost more now. But somebody's got to say, no, that's not true, because most vehicles of commerce still run on diesel. Yes, more and more taxis and private hire vehicles are running on petrol, but because we are now making it more expensive, hopefully they too will plan the way they do their business a bit better and not cruise around empty, and be a bit smarter in the way they do business.
Now, you ended your piece by saying it should be left to the private sector to decide how they will partake of the new ecosystem. Can you elaborate on that, Chris?
Yes. So with EVs, this is a whole new ball game, and there are a lot of business opportunities. One would be charging, right? Vehicle charging. Right now, there are a few players already in the market, but the government has already spelled out that it wants to increase the number of chargers to 60,000. Right now, we have fewer than 2,000, right? That's a lot of chargers. So there is an opportunity for people to come in, new players to come in, and bid for business, and take a slice of the pie. Besides regular charging, we could have people offering green charging. That means solar-powered charging, which doesn't take electricity from the grid. Opportunities like that. Another big opportunity would be recycling, battery recycling. Electric vehicles use a lot of batteries, huge batteries, right? Each vehicle will take maybe like 200 kg of batteries. What do you do with them afterwards, after they're spent? So many countries have already got companies retrieving batteries and using them as second life batteries. That means as backups for homes, industries, businesses. So there is a lot of opportunity in this budding ecosystem. That's what I meant.
I see. Well, as always, thank you, Chris, for coming on the show. That was Christopher Tan, Senior Transport Correspondent for the Straits Times.